Hello, and welcome to the 162nd episode of Scripture in a Year, hosted by Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Church in the Albanian Archdiocese of the OCA. Today's reading is from the book of Proverbs, chapters 21 through 24. As a flow of water, so is the heart of the king in the hand of God. Wherever he wills to incline it, there he turns it. Every man appears righteous to himself, but the Lord makes hearts right. To do righteous things and to speak the truth are more pleasing before God than the blood of sacrifices. A high-minded man is bold-hearted in his arrogance, and the lamp of the ungodly is sin. He who produces treasures with a lying tongue pursues worthless things upon the snares of death. Destruction shall entertain the ungodly, for they are not willing to do righteous things. To the crooked, God sends crooked ways, for his works are pure and upright. It is better to dwell in a corner in the open air than with wrongdoing in plastered rooms and in a shared house. The soul of the ungodly will not be shown mercy by anyone among men. When the intemperate man is punished, the simple man becomes more astute, and a wise man of understanding shall receive knowledge. A righteous man understands the hearts of the ungodly, and he despises the ungodly in their evils. He who closes his ears that he might not listen to the weak, he will also call upon someone, and there will be no one listening. A secret gift calms anger, but he who refrains from giving gifts stirs up strong anger. It is the joy of the righteous to do judgment, but a holy man is unclean before evildoers. A man who wanders from the way of righteousness shall rest in an assembly of giants. A man in need loves merriment, loving wine and oil as wealth. A lawless man is the outcast of a righteous man. It is better to live in a desert than with a contentious, talkative, and quick-tempered woman. A treasury of desire will rest upon the mouth of a wise man, but men without discernment shall swallow it. The way of righteousness and mercy shall find life and glory. A wise man assaults fortified cities and pulls down the stronghold the ungodly trust. He who guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from tribulation. A troublemaker is called rash, arrogant, and boastful, and he who bears malice is called lawless. Desires kill a slothful man, for his hands choose not to do anything. The ungodly man desires evil all day long, but the righteous man shows mercy and compassion unsparingly. The sacrifices of the ungodly are an abomination to the Lord, for they offer them lawlessly. A false witness shall perish, but an obedient man will speak guardedly. An ungodly man resists shamelessly to the face, but the upright man himself understands his ways. There is no wisdom, there is no courage, there is no counsel for the ungodly. The horse is prepared for the day of war, but help is from the Lord. A good name is to be chosen more than much wealth, a good grace more than silver and gold. The rich man and the poor man meet with one another, but the Lord made both. An astute man, seeing an evil man severely punished, is himself instructed. But those passing by without discernment suffer loss. The fear of the Lord and riches and glory and life are the offspring of wisdom. Thorns and snares are in the ways of the crooked, but he who guards his own soul will keep away from them. The rich will rule over the poor, and servants will lend to their own masters. He who sows worthless things will reap evil things, and bring to an end the plague of his works. God blesses a cheerful man and a giver, and he will bring to an end the vanity of his works. He who shows mercy to a poor man shall himself be supported, for he gave his own bread to the poor man. He who gives gifts to a poor man gains victory and honor for himself. However, he who buys him takes away his soul. Cast out a pestilent man from the assembly, and contention will go out with him. For whenever he sits in the assembly, he dishonors everyone. The Lord loves holy hearts, and all the blameless are acceptable to him. A king governs lips, and the eyes of the Lord maintain perception, but the lawless man despises his words. A slothful man makes excuses and says, "There is a lion in the way and murderers in the streets." The mouth of a lawless man is a deep pit, and the man hated by the Lord shall fall into it. Evil ways are before man, and he does not love to turn away from them. But it is necessary to turn away from a crooked and evil way. Folly fastens itself to the heart of a child, for the rod and instruction are far from him. He who oppresses a poor man increases his possessions, yet he gives them to a rich man to lessen them. Incline your ear to the words of the wise, and hear my word, and establish your heart that you may know they are good. And if you apply them to your heart, they will gladden you, and at the same time be upon your lips, that your hope might be in the Lord, and his way might be known to you. And register them upon the breadth of your heart for yourself threefold, for counsel and knowledge. Therefore I teach you a true word and good knowledge to be obeyed, that you might answer the words of truth to those who question you. Do not rob the poor, for he is needy, and do not dishonor the helpless at the gates, for the Lord will judge his cause, and you will deliver your soul from violence. Do not be a companion to an angry man, and do not associate with a quick-tempered friend, lest you learn his ways and receive a snare for your soul. Do not give yourself as surety because you respect a person, for if you do not have the wherewithal to make compensation, they will take your bed out from under you. Do not remove the eternal landmarks your fathers established. An observant man and one astute in his business should be present with kings, and he should not be present with slothful men. If you sit down to dine at a table of princes, understand carefully the things put before you, and apply your hand, knowing you should prepare certain things. And if you are insatiable, do not desire its delicacies, for these things belong to a false life. If you are poor, do not measure yourself with a rich man, but keep away from this in your thinking. If you fix your eye on him, he will disappear, for wings like an eagle's are prepared for him, and he returns to the house of his master. Do not dine with an envious man, neither desire his foods. For as someone who may swallow a hair, so he eats and drinks. Neither invite him in, nor eat your morsel with him, for he will vomit it forth and maltreat your good works. Speak nothing into the ears of a man without discernment, lest he treat your wise words with contempt. Do not remove the eternal landmarks, and do not enter the possession of orphans. For the Lord who redeems them is mighty, and he will judge their cause with you. Give your heart to instruction, and prepare your ears for words of perception. Do not withhold instruction from a child, for if you should strike him with a rod, he would not die. For you shall strike him with a rod and deliver his soul from death. My son, if your heart becomes wise, you will also gladden my heart, and your lips shall spend time with the words on my lips if they be upright. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in fear of the Lord the whole day long. For if you keep these words, you shall have offspring, and your hope will not depart from you. Hear, my son, and become wise, and direct aright the thoughts of your heart. Do not be a wine-bibber, neither provide contributions of meats or goods at drinking parties. For every drunkard and fornicator shall become impoverished, and every sluggard shall clothe himself with tattered and ragged garments. Hear, my son, your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother, because she has grown old. A righteous father rears his child well, and his soul rejoices in a wise son. Let your father and mother be glad in you, and let her who bore you rejoice. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes observe my ways. For a house of prostitution is a pierced vessel, and a strange and empty well. For he shall perish suddenly, and every lawless man shall be destroyed. Who has woe, who has tumult, who has condemnation, who has unpleasantness and gossip, who has affliction with no purpose, whose eyes are pale? Is it not those who linger long with wines? Is it not those who hunt for the whereabouts of drinking parties? Do not be drunk with wine, but keep company with righteous men, and keep company in public walks. For if you set your eyes to the bowls and cups, afterward you will walk about more naked than ground meat. And at last he stretches himself out as one bitten by a serpent, and the venom spreads through him, as one bitten by a horned serpent. When your eyes behold a strange woman, then your mouth will speak twisted things, and you will lie down as in the heart of the sea, and as a pilot in a great storm. And you will say, They beat me, but I did not suffer, and they mocked me, but I knew it not. When will it be morning, that I may go seek those with whom I may company? My son, do not envy evil men, neither desire to be with them, for their heart ponders a lie, and their lips speak of sufferings. A house is built with wisdom, and it is built up with understanding. Storehouses are filled with perception, from all honorable and good riches. It is better to be a wise man of strength, and a man having discernment, than to be a man who has a large estate. War comes with the skill of a commander, but help comes with the heart of a counselor. Wisdom and good thinking are in the gates of the wise. The wise do not turn away from the mouth of the Lord, but they deliberate with counsels. Death happens to the uninstructed, and a man without discernment shall die in his sins. And uncleanness will pollute a pestilent man, and an evil day and a day of tribulation until he dies. Rescue those being led into death, and saw off the bonds of those being cast out. Do not spare them help. If you say, I do not know this man, know that the Lord knows the hearts of all, and he who formed every breath knows all things. Who will render to each man according to his works? My son, eat honey, for the honeycomb is good, that your throat may be sweetened. Thus you shall discern wisdom for your soul. For if you find it, there will be a good end to your life, and hope will not abandon you. Do not bring an ungodly man to the dwelling of the righteous, neither be deceived by the full satisfaction of the stomach. For a righteous man will fall 7 times and rise again, but the ungodly shall weaken in evils. If your enemy falls, do not rejoice over him, and do not exalt yourself at his stumbling. Because the Lord will see this, and it will not please him, and he will turn his anger from him. Do not rejoice in evildoers, nor envy sinners, for there is no future for evil men, and the lamp of the ungodly shall be put out. Fear God, my son, and the king, and disobey neither of them. For suddenly they will take retribution on the ungodly, and who will know the punishments of both? A son who guards the word will be free from destruction, for he receives it fully. Let no lie be spoken from your tongue to the king, and let no lie come from his tongue. The tongue of the king is a sword and not of flesh, and whoever it delivers it will annihilate. For if his anger is sharpened, it destroys men with its sinews, and devours the bones of men, and it burns like a flame, so as to be inedible for the nestlings of eagles. Now I say the following to you, the wise, to observe. It is not good to be partial in judgment. He who says about an ungodly man, he is righteous, shall be a curse to people, and despicable to nations. But those who reprove him shall appear more excellent, and a good blessing shall come upon them, and they will kiss the lips that answer good words. Prepare your works for your going forth, and prepare yourself for the field, and walk behind me, and you shall build up your house. Do not be a false witness against your countrymen, neither open wide your lips. Do not say, I will treat him as he treated me, and I shall avenge myself on him wherein he wronged me. A man without discernment is like a field, and a man in need of discernment is like a vineyard. If you leave it alone, it will remain dry and barren, altogether covered with grass and forsaken. And its stone walls will be razed to the ground. Afterward I repented. I observed that I might choose instruction. I doze a little and I sleep a little, and I fold my arms across my chest a little. If you do this, your poverty shall go before you, and want, like a strong runner. Here ends the reading for today.